Okay, let's take a look at these. Starting with the first one here. They use a plant-wide rate based on direct labor hours. So if I'm going to figure out overhead applied, then I need to first figure out my plant-wide rate. So I need to look for anything that's estimated because that's all I would know at the beginning of the year. So I'm going to focus on those numbers, and I think I'll pull Excel up. Okay. Alright, so what we think is we're going to have overhead of 350,000. For some reason I always put too many zeros in when I'm in Excel, and I don't know why. 350,000 is our overhead. Plant-wide rate, so my total for the plant number of direct labor hours is 500,000. And so if I divide, I get 70 cents per direct labor hour. So then let's go make some batteries. The 9 volt has how many actual hours? Because now we're actually making some. So we have 125. At 70 cents a piece. And then the AAA has 400 at 70 cents a piece. And so that's why the answer is this one right here. For the next one, what kind of method are we using? Departmental rates, and I need to calculate applied overhead for one product. Okay, so we're going to need rates for 2 different departments. We've got molding and we've got finishing. Molding, now again, at the beginning of the year, all I know is estimates. So I care about estimates there, and I care about estimates here. Those are all estimated numbers. So those are the only numbers I'm going to pull from right now. Our molding is 250,000 in overhead. Finishing is 100,000 in overhead. Let's see. Molding is by what? Molding uses machine hours. So machine hours are 20,000 machine hours, it looks like. For this department, expected machine hours for that entire department would be that, it looks like. We don't have any other numbers, so that's about the best we can do. Finishing must be by direct labor hours. So expected direct labor hours for this department are 40. So if we divide, those are our 2 rates for each department. So now let's go make some airplanes. So our airplanes have to go through the first department, and in this department they use how many machine hours? Planes, actually, machine hours. Planes, machine hours, 16,500. So 16,500 hours at $12.50 an hour. Then the planes go to the next department, the finishing department, and finishing department uses labor hours. Finishing, labor hours, planes, 5,300. 5,300 times $2.50 a piece. So if we add these two up, we get 219,500, which is this answer right here. The next one, departmental overhead rates. Looks like kind of the same problem we were on. Molding uses machine, finishing uses labor hours, so this is the same problem. How much overhead over or under applied? Okay, well we know right here how much was applied on the airplanes. Let's go do the race cars. The race cars was that much a piece times molding department, actual machine hours, 3,200. Race cars, finishing department, 34,500 at this many a piece. So then our total overhead, oopsie, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. So this is our total overhead. It's the total for the airplanes plus the race cars. Total overhead applied. They must tell me, okay, actual overhead 360. So let's compare those two. Looks like we are under applied, but they didn't actually ask us which direction, by 14,250. That's that answer right there. Following information. Let's see, we've got some actual numbers, we've got some budgeted numbers, and some applied overhead. All right. Budgeted overhead used to calculate the predetermined overhead rate would be the following information: normal costing, actual overhead, machine hours, budgeted machine hours. This one is a little bit more of an algebraic. If we give you a little bit of information, can you figure out the missing numbers? We know they're asking what the rate is. You know, what is this rate? Such that when we took something and multiplied it by that number, we got 487,500. So we're looking for what this rate is. They would have taken what? Actual machine hours worked. They would have taken our actual machine hours of 25,000, multiplied it by some rate to get that number. I'm just thinking out loud here as I go through it. Let's see, our budgeted machine hours, we took some dollar amount of overhead, divided it by, oh, and that's what they're asking us, is the budgeted overhead used to calculate. Okay, so if I have these two numbers, I can figure out x, because we took this times this to get that. So let's take this and divide it by 2,500, and we will have x. Good old algebra. We're going to take that and divide it by that and get our rate is $19.50. So if you take this times $19.50, you'll get that number there. So that's our rate, which they didn't actually ask us for, but now if I know we took some amount of overhead, took some number, divided it by our expected machine hours, the answer we got was $19.50, because that's our rate. So then you use some more algebra and say, okay, well, what must this number be? And so this problem really challenges you to see the interaction between all of your figures. And so if I take that, I get 536,250, which is that one right there. Using direct labor hour total cost of a job. Okay, so total cost of a job, I'm going to need materials, I'm going to need labor, and I'm going to need overhead. Total maintenance and inspection. Huh. I'm going down here and I'm looking and I'm seeing that you used 2. You answered the overhead only and they asked for the total cost of the job. So you're missing the materials and the labor. That's all you missed on that one. So when it says total cost of the job, don't forget about your 3-legged stool. You need materials plus labor plus overhead. If the number of inspections is used to assign inspection cost, the amount of inspection cost allocated to the job would be. So they're only asking about inspection costs for this job. So what is our rate for inspection? We've got 4 categories here. I really only care about the one regarding inspection. And here is a particular job. And in the past, here's our company activity. So it looks like what I've got is a pool of dollars of 90,000. That's the inspection dollars. I've got 1,000 inspections. So that means we've got that divided by $90 per inspection. So now let's go look at this particular bid. 6 inspections. 540. That's that answer right there. And finally, how much machine overhead costs will be assigned to this product using process 1. Okay, so we need to know more about process 1. Oh, it's kind of like the first department, almost. All right, we have 4 activity rates. They give us the rates. This one happens in process 1, and so since they're asking about process 1, that's the only one we care about. We don't care about this one, do we? We're asked about product L, so we care about this product right here. And they're only asking about machine overhead costs, so I really don't care about engineering, purchase orders, units. I just care about machining. And so machining, which is this one, is 24 per machine hour. Product L, machine hour, 80,000 hours, which is 1.92 million.